Hey everybody, welcome to the last video in this series for this week. The last thing people get worried about their value, their worth, their identity is the roles we play. What do I mean by the roles we play? Well, I'm a husband, and I'm a father, and I'm a therapist, and I'm a brother, and I'm an uncle, and I'm a friend, and those are all roles I play, but they're not really who I am. But if I tell myself that's who I am, that I'm just a father and a husband, and that's where I get my value and worth from, what happens when I'm no longer a father and a husband? What happens if for some reason I don't want to think about, my son and my wife die in a car crash and I'm left here alone, and the only way I've gotten value and worth in my lifetime is to be a father and a husband, and all of a sudden those roles are ripped from me. I no longer knew who I am, how to take care of myself, how to find value and worth. This is why when people get to be in their 30s and 40s and 50s and they lose their job and their whole worth and identity has been wrapped around in the identity of being the manager, of being the pastor, of being the husband, and then now they're divorced, of being the mom and their child goes away to school or gets married. They don't know what to do because the only way they found worth and value is to find it in the role they play. And guess what? Those roles are ever changing and they ever will be changing. And we've got to fight hard against that. You know, I love the Buddhist 5 remembrances. What he says in that is, guess what? You're going to get sick. As you get older, you're going to get sick. You're going to die. Nobody escapes death. Number 3 is that you're going to get old. As much as we'd like to stay young, and I try to stay young and work out and eat right, I'm going to get old. And 4th, he says that everything that's dear to you, your family, your job, your possessions, everything you hold dear are going to be ripped from you, are going to change. Everything changes and it all goes away. And the roles you play will change. This is why Jesus said, hey, in your life you will have trouble. Your roles will change. Your jobs will change. Your money will shift. Your kids will leave. Things will happen we don't like. But the 5th remembrance is to remember the only thing that we have power and control over are our thoughts and our actions. Because our thoughts lead to feelings and our feelings lead to actions. And the reality is we have to separate ourselves and our worth and identity out of those roles, out of those events in life circumstances, so that we can know our value and our worth and our identity are not about certain conditions to meet. That if I'm just a good enough father and a good enough husband, will I make mistakes as a father and a husband? You betcha, and I'll do it today. Does that mean I'm an awful husband or father? I hope not. Does it mean I'm an awful person? I hope not. Hopefully what it does is cause me to feel guilty and say, yeah, I could have done that better, and I work on working on that better. Rather than shame and say, oh, I'm an awful person. I just never can get it right, and then I never look at working on it or getting it better. That's what shame does to you. It keeps you trapped in that last video we did, that shame cycle and self-defeating cycle, and you just keep doing the same old things over and over and over again. So that's the last one, the roles we play. So in psychology we say, guess what? Self-actualization are people who realize that there are no conditions of worth to meet. That no matter what, we are worthy and we are valuable. And Abraham Maslow, who came up with the hierarchy of needs, that hopefully you've seen on the blog post now, he said if people who are self-actualized, they're at the top. So if somebody who's self-actualized walks into a party, and the party is a black tie affair with fancy prom dresses and fancy dresses and tuxes, and they walk in their blue jeans, t-shirt, flip-flops, what's that person thinking? His students would always answer, well, they don't care, and they know that they're worth more than this, and their conditions are worth to meet, and they don't care that this person is thinking that or that. And he said, all of y'all are wrong. That person doesn't even notice the differences anymore. Remember the videos long ago, a couple of days ago? Be like children. That's why Jesus said you must have faith like a child. You've got to go back to that place that you realize there are no conditions of worth to meet. You no longer recognize there are differences between other people and you. That they aren't better and you aren't better and we're not different because one's better than the other or one meets their role better than the other. That we recognize and realize that we are who we are because we've been created by God. And this universe is taking care of us, and there are no more conditions to meet, and we no longer take those into consideration to live our life. There are no more roles to play. That we realize we are a soul within this body. And that's who we really are. We become what we call an untethered soul. no longer tethered to the things of this earth, to other people's opinions, to how successful we are, or the roles we play. We are tethered to creation, the universe, to God. We know we have value and worth, and we know because grace is the most powerful force in the universe that we will be taken care of, and we can be like those little kids who get up in the morning, not worried if they're going to eat, not worried how the power bill is going to be paid, not worried about anything other than how are they going to have fun today. That's what being an untethered soul is. That's what value, worth, and identity is. How are you going to have fun today? Remember that. I look forward to seeing you in the coming weeks. Keep up with me here. Keep reading my post at WordPress.com, Power for Living. We'll see you soon. Namaste.